Big Sills! Last exhibition game of the year. Rosters are pretty much set. Last preseason game, you're probably looking for one or two guys to fill out your 53-man roster. And this exhibition game will probably be used to fill out your practice squad. Now, what's significant about this, how he's going to be looking at other rosters and other practice squad guys, so that potentially on cuts you can add a guy and put a guy on your practice team. So that practice squad team is going to become more and more important each and every single year, because that's kind of like your go-to pool of guys first before you go into free agency. So I would say this, man. You're going to get a chance to look at some depth guys as they play the Colts this week. We're going to look at week 2 of the NFL exhibition season. It's really, like I said last week and all last week, the dress rehearsal. And we're going to talk about some positions. And by the way, I heard a topic. Now, look, I know when I bring this topic up, everyone's going to go shitbag on me. And everyone's going to go, you're Hurts hating again. That's not where I'm going here. Someone else brought this up. And I'm going to add this to the conversation here. But it looks like Ques Watkins has lost his job to Alameda Zacchaeus. And probably rightfully so. Here's the problem that you have with Ques. He's not a fighter. He's not tough enough for the position. It's one thing. Here, I'll say this to you. He's fast. That's it. He has no redeeming quality to be the third wide receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles, except the speed. The speed's the only thing that keeps him in the conversation. That's the only thing. You know what I would do with Ques? Put him on special teams. Make him a punt returner. They need more help there. Turn him into a special teams guy. See what kind of character he has. There's nothing really redeeming about him. Quan, what's up, brother? Right? There's nothing redeeming about the guy except his speed. So, see if he can be a special teams guy. They need help. They need bodies there. They need athletes on that side of the ball. You know, that's the third facet of your roster is your special teams. Now, maybe they think he's not. How about this? If Ques Watkins is not being considered for punt or kick return, that means the indictment that I'm making on him is true. They don't think he's tough enough to play special teams. Okay? Joey, appreciate it. You feel me, man? He's just not tough enough. He lost that job. I'll tell you why. Do you trust him on jump footballs? So we're going to look at some of the roster spots too and some of the big concerns. As the roster, I think the roster's set, the Eagle roster. So I think it's set. Okay? I'm going to make a comment to you. Before I get to the topics here. I want to make a comment to you about Jalen Carter and even Jordan Davis. You know what's funny? When I watch those two guys play, Jordan Davis still needs to work a lot of technique, but I'll tell you the one thing that he does have, he's got great feet. And he moves his feet. Jalen Carter has exceptional feet. I posted a video of Mazi Smith from the Cowboys, and it was from the Seattle game this past weekend, albeit Seattle's got a good old line. 3 of the 5 guys in their offensive line are pretty good ball players. Slipped and scooped, not moving your feet. Man, Mazi Smith is 10 times with worse feet than Jalen Carter and even Jordan Davis. And Jordan Davis is a fire plug. Mazi Smith, in my opinion, is a reach. I said it on draft day. Slipped and scooped. By the way, you want to see false steps? Go to my Twitter page, @Dan Sileo. show, and I'll show you. Carter and Jordan Davis don't do this. They don't jump technique. They play the technique that's in front of them. To me, that's better coaching. These kids are getting well coached in Philly. And I think the guy in Dallas is just not getting well coached, and he's jumping technique, either in a 2 technique, 3 technique. I don't think he's a good football player. I think he's got flash plays where his strength takes over. But if you're asking me, will that guy be a star in this league? I might be dead wrong. But I don't see it. Like when I watch Jordan, hey, let me just not use the better athlete in Jalen Carter or the better football player in Jalen Carter. Let me just use Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is better than that kid. Mozzie Smith is never going to be better than Jordan Davis. I don't think. I don't see it, man. And get this, I just threw this tape on and I just randomly picked one. And I was like this. There were 4 minuses in a row in 4 consecutive plays. And I'm going like this. How can you have 4 minuses in a row? False steps. The shit I talk about with Nakobe Dean. Can't take false steps in this league against good football players. You'll get blocked, scooped, and slipped, and you'll get your shoulders turned. You got to watch what I posted on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. Again, I'm not just baiting you to go there. Watch what I'm talking about. He's just not very good. Maybe he gets better. I don't know. Right now, he's struggling. And then when I watch Carter and I watch Davis, I'm like, these guys might get blocked. Like in the Cleveland game, they got blocked, but they were playing technique and they were formidable in there, at least putting up a battle. He's getting driven 4 yards off the ball. Davis and Carter are not getting driven 4 yards off the ball. Okay? I don't see this kid. This kid Smith, in my opinion, was a 3rd-round draft choice. He's got a long way to go, man. He really does. Let me get to this Jalen Hurts topic here. I thought it was an interesting conversation. Now, before we get into this conversation, please understand this. This is not my take. But I thought it was a pretty good conversation. How many quarterbacks do you think could come into Philadelphia and put up better numbers than Jalen Hurts? From the elite guys that are in the NFL today. 3,700 yards and 22 touchdowns is not a lot. So James Jones was talking about Justin Fields being a better athlete and being a better prospect than Jalen Hurts. And here's the context of it. Can you name the wide receivers on the Bears last year? He threw 17. And you know what's funny? When he was on Speak for Yourself on Fox Sports, I was like, I can't name a receiver. He threw 17. That's 5 less than Jalen. And Shady McCoy goes, yeah, well, aren't you going to count the rushing? Well, Justin Fields had 1,100 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. Jalen had 713. And James Jones's opinion was nobody in their right mind would have an MVP with 3,700 yards and 22 touchdowns as a serious MVP candidate. If you think about it, everyone would be like, what? And his point was, and again, listen, I'm putting his story out first, and then I want us to comment on it. His story is this. Any of the elite quarterbacks that are in the NFL, if they were in Philadelphia with 2 number ones, a number 1 tight end, a number 1 offensive line, and a number 1 running back, would put up better numbers than Hurts. Is he wrong? No. You put Josh Allen in Philadelphia, he throws for 5,000 yards. Now, his point was this. Is Hurts winning because of the team around him. Could Jalen go to any of these other, could Jalen go to Chicago and win more games than Justin Fields? I don't think he could. I don't think he could. He couldn't carry that Bears team to a playoff team. Okay? How about this? The point was, he's not winning more games than Justin Fields. And James Jones's opinion was, he's a more explosive runner. He's got a better range when it comes to arm strength. Is he wrong? Again, this is conversation here. Having a different quarterback means installing a different system, which yields different statistical results. Well, then let's just use Justin Fields. So you're trying to tell me you don't think Justin Fields can come to Philadelphia and play and have better statistics and do the same thing that Jalen Hurts is doing? He's more of an electric runner. I mean, he's on the shittiest offense in pro football a year ago, and he put up 17 passing touchdowns and 1,100 rushing yards. You're telling me if he's not playing with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and the best O-line in football, he's not putting up 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 1,500 yards rushing? You're telling me he's not doing that? I don't know. Again, it's conversation. Okay? Okay, I mean, Justin Fields, hey, you want to hear this? You know I'm not a Justin Fields fan. But I think the context of his take was, don't you think like Lamar Jackson coming into Philadelphia, if he put up an MVP unanimous season in Baltimore in 17, or whatever year it was, don't you think if he had 2 ones like that, his numbers would be even better? 3,700 yards and 22 touchdowns is not an MVP year. Is he winning because of the team that's around him? It's the most stacked team for any quarterback in the NFL. That's his take. Okay? I'm not going to penalize a player because he has a competent general manager. I don't know if that's the question here, though. How good is he without that team? I think is more the question. You think if there's any kind of injuries on that football team, Jalen can carry the team to the Super Bowl? I do not believe that. Now, I think if Joe Burrow loses Jamar Chase, I don't think I don't know. Joe Burrow took the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl with the 29th worst offensive line. So, okay. Josh Allen won 13 ball games with one player in the offense that was worth the shit. The guy in Kansas City is an outlier. I get it. So making any kind of comparison to Patrick Mahomes is crazy because it's him and everyone else right now. Okay? Once again, this wasn't my take. This is more of a conversation that they had. All of it's true. Justin Fields doesn't have the number one O-line. He's got one of the worst O-lines in the NFL. He had the worst wide receiving core in the NFL last year. Okay? I mean, he didn't have a defense on the other side to get stops. I couldn't name you a guy he threw the ball to last year. That kind of goes to Daniel Jones a little bit too. Who Daniel Jones throw the ball to last year? People go, Daniel Jones had 15 or 17 touchdowns. Okay, I get that. But Daniel Jones carried that team to the playoffs. If you think about it, with Barkley, but Jalen had Miles Sanders. Was it like Jalen did that alone? I think it's an interesting conversation. Okay? How good is Burrow without his team? We've never seen it, not once. Well, I saw him with the worst O-line in pro football go to a Super Bowl and a quarter away from winning it. Jalen's never had the worst of anything. Well, his first year, he had one wideout. Still had a good back, and he had a great tight end, and he had a really good wideout. Jalen's never had a situation where he's been on a bad team. Now, again, that's the luck of being drafted in the right place. So it's got a lot to do with you being drafted somewhere, too. You get drafted to Chicago or the Jets, your chances of succeeding are little because they haven't developed either. O-lines, wideouts, nothing. Joe Douglas is doing a better job in New York now. But I heard, and I talked to Joy Taylor because Joy was on the panel when they were talking, James Jones and Shady. And I was like, he brings a compelling point up that, we've never seen Jalen without a good football team around him. Could he carry a football team? Like, get this. If Howie had to trade away A.J. Brown and they lost some old linemen, you think they're going to the Super Bowl this year? It's funny, isn't it? Kansas City's is in the conversation going back to the Super Bowl. They lost Juju Smith-Schuster, and I can't name you a wideout they got in the building. No, they got Kelsey. O-line's not bad. They're investing in the O-line, but quite frankly, it's not really a lot there. I mean, have they done anything in Buffalo to enhance the offense around Josh Allen? Not really. They're leaning on him to carry the team to the AFC Championship. Actually, the other guy in the AFC, in my opinion, there's two guys that I think have stacked teams. I think Justin Herbert's got a stacked team. I think his O-line's good. He's got two really good wideouts in Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Tight end's not the greatest. They got Austin Eckler. I mean, that's a good-looking offense. He should be doing more there. I agree with you. Okay, he's got a packed team. That guy needs to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, if there's any guy in the AFC that has what Jalen has, it's Justin Herbert. Guy's got to win a playoff game. So, when you look at that, the guys with less, aren't they more valuable? Okay? And for the record, listen, it's a conversation. Hurts grew with the team. In 2021, Eagles came off of 4-11 in one season. They said the O-line was done because they were old. He had to play with Jalen Reagor, Marshmallow Ques Watkins. Nobody was giving Goddard the praise Philadelphia was giving him. It's true. Miles Sanders also was not giving the praise, and he was often injured. The defense was suspect, one of the worst sack teams in the league at the time, 2021. That 2021 Eagle team did not have a good sack total. The 22 roster in 2021 roster is right in the day. Got to remember, Hurts didn't play a lot of 4 quarters. Is Fields more accurate? No, he's not. And by the way, I'm not here. I guess I should probably tell. Do I think Justin Fields is better than Jalen Hurts? I don't. I'm not saying that. James Jones said that. So maybe, let me get that. I do not believe that. However, it does bring a great point up. I mean, 3,700 yards and 22 touchdowns is not an MVP candidate to me. I agree. You combine the 14 wins. Well, that's because of the players around him, too. Now, I think you're not giving Jalen enough credit for this. And I've said this a couple months ago. Well, Jalen may not have put up superstar numbers, and he did not. The guy in Seattle had better numbers. Geno Smith had more MVP-type numbers than Hurts did. However, here's the common denominator that separates him, though. Everyone around him had a career year. The quarterback has to be given credit for that. Okay? He has to be given credit for that. Batman goes, he had 35 touchdowns. Well, Okay, he had 9 more touchdowns than Justin Fields. I mean, okay. He had 9 more touchdowns than Justin Fields. I don't know. I wouldn't say Justin Fields had some MVP season last year. He only had 9 more touchdowns. You want to combine it? You want to do that, bad man? Okay. He had 9 more touchdowns on one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, no, I don't think. On a team that won 3 games, 4 games, no. I'm saying this. How many touchdowns would he have had if he had AJ, Devontae, the best O-line, Dallas Goedert, and Miles Sanders? 55? You got to at least give him. Tone said something to me a couple months ago also about Nicholas Morrow. Sills, don't you think if people play with better people, your numbers are going to go up? Your production will go up? Your accuracy? Yes. Yes. I do. Why wouldn't Fields if he had better people? I think it's a compelling argument. Now, again, hey, it's a conversation because people don't respect Jalen. They think it's more of a team, or as I should say, a system that the general manager has put in place. To me, I don't subscribe to this. Don't put me in James Jones's league. I'm saying this. There is a component that I agree. Hey, you bring a more talented passer into that offense, okay? I think you're going to have more turnovers. Because if you throw the ball more, you're looking to turn the ball over more. I think you look at it wrong too. See, the impressive number is not the 22 touchdowns. The impressive number is the 6 picks and the least amount of turnovers. The media has put Hurts in a category of do it again because the media thinks last year was a fluke. Hey, Death Row, I don't think that that's an out-of-hand comment to say, let's see it do it again. You've only done it once. I want to see Sauce Gardner do it again. The only way that you become legendary and great in this NFL is with consistency. 1 year doesn't make you an elite. Does anybody think Cooper Kupp's the best wide receiver in the NFL because he had one spectacular year, one Hall of Fame year? Does anyone think he's the best wideout? No. You've got to do it over a consistent period of time. Brady's considered the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, not because he put up spectacular seasons, which he's had a few, but nothing like Rodgers. 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, the ability that Rodgers has compared to Brady's night and day. Brady's a better player. Rodgers is a better talent. We see that every day. Fields is not better. He's more athletic. Here, it's this. This is the greatest comparison on an RPO quarterback that I could get next to Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Follow me if you can follow along. Some of you won't be able to because you don't want to. Aaron Rodgers is a better talent than Tom Brady. We all agree. Brady's a better quarterback. Justin Fields is a better athlete than Jalen Hurts. Jalen's a better RPO quarterback. It's the same. I'd rather be Hurts. You can have all the athleticism you want. If you're not getting across the finish line with wins and statistics, what's the point of being athletic? See, that's where I think James Jones loses the argument. Okay, you got me. Justin Fields is a better athlete than Jalen. Aaron Rodgers is a better athlete than Brady. Brady's a better quarterback. Jalen's a better quarterback. Until proven otherwise. That's where I think that argument lands. But again, it's a sign of disrespect. How could you compare a guy that won 14 ball games and accounted for 35 touchdowns and had everyone on his team have a career year and compare him to a guy who's still like, we're all doing this too? Is he the guy in Chicago? Okay? See, Samuel goes, Justin is nowhere near the passer Hurts is. He's got a stronger arm. Is he a better passer? No. Aaron Rodgers is a better passer than Tom Brady. He's more accurate. Who wins more games? Tom Brady. Okay. See how the fine line is? You can have all this. There was a guy that played back in the day by the name of Jeff George. One of the most gifted quarterbacks I have ever seen. Throw the ball 95 yards in the air. This guy was unbelievable. Could roll out. You put him in a football game, he's Jay Cutler. Him and Jay Cutler were exactly alike. You're like, holy shit, I saw Bernie Kosar, who was the most non-athletic guy, get to 3 AFC title games. That position is weird. It's why people fail at evaluating it. Right here is the number. Get this. More people looked at Justin Fields, at his ability and his athleticism, than Jalen Hurts' intangibles. That's why he was drafted higher. I'm not saying nothing out of hand here. Jalen is a deep ball thrower, and no, he's not. He throws the ball. He threw the ball 450 times. That's one of the least attempts of any guy who was in that MVP conversation a year ago. He doesn't throw the ball a lot. 450 times? They did that in the 80s. That's not a lot of attempts. People today in the NFL throw the ball 650 times, not 450. There's Mahomes threw the ball 225 more times than Hurts did last year. Of course you're going to have more turnovers. It's just different. Since Hurts is dual threat, let's discuss his numbers with dual threat context. Jalen Hurts' total yards. Again, this is all team related, though. 4,461 yards. A.J. Smith and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. All right, yeah. Sounds about right to me. Maybe I'd like to see a little Jalen Hurts total yards. 4,461 yards and 35 touchdowns. 66.5 completion percentage. Well, you better have that number when you have A.J. Brown and you have Devontae Smith. Don't you think that would be a little bit of a disappointment if he's not at 66.5 with 2 ones? You're giving a guy credit for something that should be done with 2 number 1 wideouts. We're not talking about guys who are nobodies here, like Fields had to throw to. Jalen Hurts is throwing to 2 guys who potentially could wear gold jackets one day. 66.5? I'm expecting that. One guy's $25 million, the other guy is a first rounder. I'm expecting that. Wouldn't you? Now, the 6 turnovers is exceptionally impressive. That's the most impressive thing on that ledger that he has here. 6 turnovers? Protecting the football is where the wins are, not the touchdowns. The wins are in that 6 turnover number. That's where the wins are coming from. How many times we see quarterbacks put up 35 touchdowns a year and their football team's 9-8? Well, okay, really? Where are we going with that? 35 touchdowns, 16 picks. Well, 16 picks in timely situations in games. The most disappointing play in Jalen Hurts' career in 2 years has been to scoop and score in the Super Bowl. That's the only time in his career I've seen him in a critical situation turn the ball over. Okay? And I'm not killing him for it because that's 34 games in, or 30. 32 games, 31 games in out of all them starts. 31 games out of 34. He has a scoop and score. I get it's in the Super Bowl. Still, it's a phenomenal number. Some quarterbacks don't always come in with the row up front talent, so you have to put more pieces around them to find out how much they can develop. Oh, there's no question Howie Roseman's gifted and how he's been able to put that RPO offense together, never having done it before. Absolutely, the general manager is putting the chess pieces all in the right place here. There's no getting around that. Okay? I think it's a great conversation here. Did Chicago have all the money to make the team better? Yes. Last year, hey, death row. This past offseason, they had $96 million. Yes, sir. And I don't believe they've done anything. They added the kid from Carolina. That'll help. Not enough. Sills, I watched every game. Sills, I watch every single one. In grave detail, Hurts may not have thrown the ball 500 or 600 times, but he has slinged the rock down the field every single game. Deep balls to Smitty and Brown were regular occurrences in 2022. Again, didn't throw the ball as much as Mahomes, but I'm not buying he can't throw deep. No, I'm not saying he can't throw deep. I'm saying they refuse to throw deep at a big pace. They're not going to. That's not what they need to. They don't. That's high turnover football. No risk it, no biscuit. Brady doesn't do that. Don't you get? I'm comparing him more to Brady. Brady's not a big guy that chucks the ball down the field like that. He threw the ball 700 some odd times last year. He's the dump-off king. Why is Brady a dump-off king and doesn't throw the ball a ton down the field? You know why? That's high turnover. They're going to say, hey, I'll tell you one thing he doesn't do still today, Jalen Hurts. He's not a progression reader. That's not what the RPO is. You know exactly where you're going with the ball. You're either going to pass it to this guy on this side of the field. You're either going to have a block and release in the tight end, hand the ball off, or you're taking off. That's not progression reading. That's RPO reading. It's a difference than being a 7-step dropper where you got to know, again, zone coverages, predetermined snaps, moving guys with your head. He's not going to sit back there 45 times and throw the ball. He's not. Now, again, he can. Why? He's got 2 1s. So when someone goes like this, well, Jalen's 66.5%. With A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, if he's anything less than that, he's failing. So I get the point that James Jones was making. And again, I'm not ripping him. But I think it gives you more of a clear view of what the Eagles are attempting to do here. You know, you guys are doing this. The big argument, we're going to get to this here in a minute, is about the backup quarterback. There's not a backup quarterback in the NFL that can – he's not in the NFL right now that could play in Philly. You guys are naming people that have no chance. Marcus Mariota is probably the best option. Okay? I think the best option is him. He's showing you how hard it is to do what he does. Don't you get it? I went back and watched Mariota. Mariota's trying to duplicate the shit Jalen's doing. You think someone like Matt Ryan's going to come in and do that? Never. You'd have to change your whole offense. And the Eagles don't do that. They showed you last year with Minshew. Minshew tried doing it. He looked like a fish out of water. Okay? There's not a guy in the NFL that could do what Hurts does. Jones misses that point. Okay, Justin Fields is a better athlete. So what? So what? That was my take to Joy. I told Joy, I go, so what? He's a better athlete. He's not a better quarterback. I said he didn't have MVP numbers. I get it. Everyone around him did. You could have made the argument that A.J. Brown could have been in a conversation for the best wideout last year. You could have made a conversation prior to Goddard getting injured that he was the best tight end in the NFL. You could have made an argument that Miles Sanders, how many backs were better than Miles Sanders last year? The kid in Las Vegas, the kid in Tennessee, and Miles, right? Those, maybe the guy in Cleveland. Maybe the guy in Cleveland. Okay, right? Picken goes like this. Here's another, that's another great point, Big Picken. Fields has to learn to protect himself. He's not a better quarterback. He's a better athlete. What would you rather be? Who would you rather have quarterbacking the Philadelphia Eagles? The best athlete in the NFL at the position or the best quarterback in the NFL at that position? Jalen Hurts is not ranked third in the NFL by many people as the third best quarterback because he's the most gifted athlete. He's there because he's moving the sticks and the chains. James Jones misses that. Justin Fields could be the best athlete. Same way Aaron Rodgers is a better athlete than Brady. So what? So what? Matt Beats goes like this. Hurts is a better quarterback by a mile. I agree. See, Matt uses the most important word, quarterback. I agree. But what happens is that when you start taking little media shots at Hurts, and by the way, this is not my take. You can aim it at me all you want. Okay, it's a lowbrow way of saying that I'm ripping Hurts. I haven't ripped him at all. I have not. They're doing something completely different in Philly than any other place in the league. That's why you can't find a backup. That's why you can't find a backup. Hey, don't you think teams around the league are looking for Hurts? They'll never find him. There's not a kid coming out in the draft like Jalen. There's not a kid in college ball. You think that kid at USC is going to do what Hurts did? Never happened. He ain't the runner Jalen is. And as far as I'm concerned, beat Utah first, kid. I don't see Caleb Williams, and I don't see Patrick Mahomes like some people think. I don't see that. He can't even win the shitty Pac-12. I don't see it. I think the kid at UNC might be better. Hurts is built different. Oh, hey, Brian. Great. I'd rather be unique than common. Wouldn't you? So I posted that conversation on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. You can watch it too. And I'm like, I think I get his point. Dude, this guy's benefiting from having great talent around him. And can he carry a team without that talent around him? That's yet to be determined. It is. But how many? Well, the guy in Buffalo won 13 games with one wideout, no tight end, and no running back. In the AFC, you guys keep telling me how shitty Josh Allen is. Josh Allen doesn't have two number ones. He doesn't have a number one tight end. He doesn't have a number one running back. He doesn't have a number one O-line. And he won 13 games in the AFC. Shit, Russell Wilson went into the AFC, got his face kicked in. I mean, that's why, like I said to you, I think 2023 is going to be an awful interesting season. And do I think the Eagles have the best offense in the NFC? I certainly do. I certainly do. Gabriel Davis? He's not bad. He's not a bad number two. Compared to Devontae? He's not bad. I'll back that up. Hey, Big Trag, I'll back that up. You're right. He's not bad. As a matter of fact, I wrote down the best number 2 wideouts in pro football. I got 8 of them. Okay? Saints, Michael Thomas. He ain't a one now, is he? How many years of football has he missed? Okay? The kid from Ohio State's their number 1 guy. I do have Gabe Davis from the Bills at number 7. Okay? This is the best number 2 receivers in the league. I think George Pickens will probably be number 1 by midway point in Pittsburgh. Okay? Steelers. Jahan Dotson. Hey, by the way, I think Washington has really good wideouts. The more you think of Washington, the Commanders have great wideouts. Okay? There's some pretty good ball players in Washington at the Y&Z. And this kid Dotson from Penn State's pretty good. I got him at 5. Brandon Ayuk, I got him at 4. 49ers. These are the best number 2s. I got T. Higgins, number 3. Bengals. I got Devontae, number 2. Eagles. And I got Jalen Waddle, number 1. Jalen Waddle. Okay, now, can you go like this? Well, Sills, he's got Tyreek Hill on the other side. Yeah, well, last year he had Teddy Bridgewater, sometimes Tua, and another dude. And he still put up big numbers. Waddle's a great player. Okay? And like I said too, I would say this. Waddle and Smith, they're kind of the same guy. If you went like this, Sills, Devontae Smith, number 1, Jalen Waddle, 2. I'm not sure. Okay, I'll take the number 2 guy. And I think you're good there. Okay? Look, if you want to give me Smith and you take Waddle, I'm good with Devontae. If you want to take Waddle or give me Waddle and you take Devontae, I'm good with Waddle too. I think both guys are really great ball players. Not a coincidence. They're from the same wide receiver room in college, though, right? So, listen, I think it's just another sign of disrespect for Jalen, too. You put him in a conversation that you're comparing him to Justin Fields, and you do it with not the right intentions. If you want to call Justin Fields the best athlete, comparing the two, that's one thing. But to sit there and go like this, well, you know, if he was on the Eagles, he would lead. I don't know that yet. I think leadership is also something, and winning ball games is something too. Because you know what that is? Here, watch this. Jalen Hurts' in-game decision-making to throw a ball out of bounds, not to take an interception, maybe take a minus play, punt, is patience. Does he have that same patience Jalen has? I don't know yet. I haven't seen it because they don't win enough games in Chicago. Okay? I think the more patient he becomes, Hurts, the better he's going to be. Like Brady. I think that to me, patience is leadership. Why is that? You know, I think being patient, that's one of the intangibles on being a CEO or president of a team or president of a business. You've got to have patience and the right time and the right place for patience. He has it. That's something you just can't get at a combine. See, when you watch a guy like Jordan Davis or you watch Jalen Hurts at a combine, you do this. These guys are great athletes. Holy shit. Here, the first time I came on this network, Jody was talking about Justin Fields' 4.4. I was like, I don't give a shit about that. I don't care he ran a 4.4. Does he get timely yards? Does he get important yards? Here, this goes to Jalen Hurts' numbers. Whose numbers were more significant to his team's success? 3,700 passing yards versus 4,400 passing yards in Minnesota. What was more significant? This is what James Jones misses. Jalen doesn't throw the ball for yards. He throws the ball to move the chains. That's what Brady did. Sometimes Brady throw the ball 154 times in a game. That was all that was needed. That's what Mahomes is doing. Don't you get it? You guys keep doing this, and you guys keep saying this. Every time Jalen's played against Mahomes, he outplays him. No, he doesn't. He outstats him. So, what's the difference with the conversation that Jones is having when it comes to Mahomes and Hurts' numbers when he says it's only 3,700 yards? Well, every time Jalen's played against him, he's put up better numbers. Does it matter? No, because why? Mahomes does what he has to do to win the game. And people will go, well, he outplayed him. No, he didn't. You're 0-2. And you lost the biggest game on the planet. And he beat you in your yard with a better team. Who really played who? That's the difference. That's why Hurts will never be considered in Justin Fields' league. Because Justin Fields, in my opinion, doesn't even look like Jalen when he plays the game. It's chaotic. It's all over the place. He doesn't protect himself. He overthrows everything. Now, is that poor talent? Probably. The sneak is a weapon, and the team has with Jalen. What is it, 91% or 96%, whatever that thing is? Because of his leg power. They were trying to change the rules. Bear, absolutely, man. I would make this point to you, Bear. Here, Bear, you want to hear the difference between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow? There's a better chance that Jalen Hurts will lead the NFL in rushing than passing yards. I think that's all you need to know between the difference of the two. You got a better chance of him leading the NFL in rushing than in passing yards. 92%? That's insanity on a quarterback sneak. Okay? Quan goes, I've lost the plot of the argument. It's not an argument. They were trying to make a statement that Justin Fields could come into Philadelphia and win 14 ball games with the talent around him. I don't believe he could. But I got the conversation, Quan. Well, what would he do with better talent? I think he'd be a better ball player. But I think there's an intangible on winning NFC title games and changing. Remember something else he did? Hurts is changing a narrative on how you look at him. Well, it's to some. Has Jalen changed my opinion? No, I will never have a dual threat quarterback as my guy. However, you know what he's changed my opinion on? He's one of those guys you don't bet against. You don't bet against Jordan. You don't bet against Bird. You don't bet against Brady. You don't bet against Tiger in their prime, all these guys. You don't bet against those guys. Every time you bet against them, they're beating you. You know how many times you bet against those guys and they beat you? You know? Hollywood goes, Eagles are frauds. Hey, dude, here's one thing they're not. They may be a little fraudulent on defense, but I think that's only because of experience. But offense, here, if you were going to draft the talent that's on offense and just say top 10 picks in the draft, where would you draft AJ? 5th overall? Where would you draft Devontae? 9th? Where would you draft Lane? Second. Where would you draft Hurts? Fifth. Where would you draft Mulata? Ninth. There's not a guy in that offense you wouldn't take in the top 10 picks in any draft. Those guys are stars. Here. Jordan Mulata, where is he ranked in the top left tackles? 8th. Landon Dickerson, guard. 6th. Jason Kelsey, 1. Right guard, to be determined. Right tackle, 2. Tight end, 3. AJ, 4. Devontae, 8th. That's quite a conversation there you just had. You got top 10 guys at almost every freaking position in your offense. That's what Jones's point was. What would Josh Allen do? They're probably going to put up a ton of numbers because that's what he is. He's a passer. What would Daniel Jones do with that Eagle offense? He had none of that last year. Carried the football team to the postseason. Right? There's always excuses when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Kevin, that's right. How about this, Kevin? It's always a negative debate. Jalen Hurts is not being – get this. Joe Burrow and Mahomes are being compared. Jalen Hurts is being compared to Justin Fields? Jesus. I'm not sure he's a quarterback yet. I don't know if Buffalo was playing some starters on defense against the Steelers in preseason, but Sam Malo was opening some big holes. He looks good. He looks good. Pittsburgh's going to be a surprise, I think. I think Pittsburgh's going to be a surprise. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Why is Jalen Hurts being compared to Justin? I'm listening to that debate, and I'm like, Jalen Hurts? I mean, I would have had more respect if you would have compared him to Daniel Jones than Justin Fields. Daniel Jones, when a playoff game, kind of plays like Jalen. It doesn't have anybody there in New York. Justin Fields, I'm not sure can throw the ball. And Jones is like he's got better arm strength. Does that really matter if you could throw the ball further than someone else? Dude, I'm looking for accuracy. I'm not looking for a guy who could throw through a steel door. I don't care about that. The conversations, they wobble on Hurts. It's very disrespecting. Comparing Jalen Hurts to Justin Fields? It's really? Now, look, if you want like this, dude, the only guy that you are to compare Jalen to is Lamar. That's with respect. If you're talking Lamar and Jalen, you got me going like this. Man, one guy's just a year older. His resume is by far more accomplishing than Jalen's. But Jalen looks like he's got the needle going up. Lamar, you're kind of like, where is he? Is he here? Is he there? You're coming off injuries, business decision that he made. You know what I mean? So you're kind of like, his decision-making was a little bit wobbly off the field, and you're like, and Jalen has handled himself, his career, his development, his behavior, his bedside manner, way better than anybody thought he could. Why is Dan saying the Steelers and Browns will be good this year? Bengals and Ravens in the same division. Who's making the playoffs there? I said the Steelers are going to be good. It's a good division. That's a really good division. And if they can get anything out of Willis in Tennessee, and I think that's who Vrabel wants to have. That's the South. I'm sorry. The Bengals and Ravens, I think the Bengals and Ravens are going to be there. The Browns are going to be right there. You get 3 teams out of that division. maybe make the postseason. That's going to be one of the stronger divisions in football. No, Jalen and Josh Allen are better comps. Jalen's not going to throw the ball as much as Josh. He's never going to be a 4,500-yard passer. So it's different. Now, I mean, he's just a different dude, man. That guy, when people around the league talk about Josh Allen, they talk about Josh Allen because of his freak ability. But again, is that going to win games? Is that going to win a Super Bowl? I don't know that yet. He's got freak ability. So did Aaron Rodgers. Who was a better ball player, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre? If you had to win a game, who would you take, Rodgers or Favre? I wouldn't take either. One guy throws the ball too many times to people. You know, when Brett Favre retired, he threw the most touchdowns and interceptions in NFL history. And the other guy gets into big games since that Super Bowl win 12 years ago. This guy shits a storm up. This guy drops games to Jimmy Garoppolo. I look at both those guys and go, I don't know. They're a tick up from Dak. Okay, they're a tick up from Dak. Right? Favre, I guess. Yeah. And you know why I'm Philly? You know why I'm not a Favre fan? Because he turned here's a Favre line. 375 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. I don't know, man. Is that going to win me games? Right? So to circle back, like Quan would say, okay, James Jones, you're right. Justin Fields is a better athlete. Is Justin Fields, though, a quarterback in the NFL right now? That's a big no. There's not a general manager in football that would build their team around him. Howie has built the team around this kid. Has built it, like Tone said, to fit him like a glove. Everything they do is to accommodate Hurts. Look at what they did philosophy-wise for Jalen. Think about this, for instance. Okay? They looked at Miles Sanders' 1,300 yards rushing and went like this. What's more beneficial to Hurts' career? Getting a screen game going, having a guy like Christian McCaffrey, who they made a play for at the trading deadline, or having an old school 265 carry back who is back there in the backfield behind him? What's more beneficial? What's more threatening to a defense? To me, getting in an I formation in today's NFL, I don't know. Having a guy like Swift versus a guy like, a guy like Swift in today's NFL concerns me more as a coordinator than a guy like Derrick Henry. Because if you don't have the horses to stop Derrick Henry, it won't matter. But if you got all the weapons around and you add Swift to it, you don't have enough defenders in your huddle to be able to stop that. Okay? You just don't. So I completely disagree with James Jones's take on it. Because the team is built differently. And I think just because you have superstar talent in Philadelphia, I don't think anybody could come in and win. I don't. That's like saying, look at how many times we've seen this thing where they changed the room here. Look what Matthew Stafford did. Matthew Stafford and Brady went into places that had talent and won Super Bowls. So let me ask you this. Matthew Stafford in Detroit all them years, he couldn't win shit. He had no playoff wins. They put Matthew Stafford in Los Angeles. This is to James Jones's point. They put him in Los Angeles with all that talent. They won a Super Bowl. That's his point. You put better players around better players. Don't they play better? I thought it was interesting. But my rub the wrong way. My rub was, you're comparing him to Justin Fields. I thought the Fields comparison was wrong. I was like, Justin Fields? Shit, they debated on trading him away to get Bryce Young as the number 1 overall pick. I don't know. All right. Positions on the Eagles as I believe the roster's set. We're also going to take a look at week 2 of the NFL. Our guy, Gary Cobb from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, will join us as well. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show. That's a reminder. Tone, well done, my friend. As a matter of fact, I talked to Greg from Hooters today, man, and my friend said it just right. Absolutely, man. Hey, we're looking forward to being able to go to Hooters and have a great time this year. This is the official home of Hooters. 40th anniversary, 7 locations in the Northeast area. Please go to northeasthooters.com. I love it how Tone does that for me, man. It's a great reminder. And again, we're going to be doing so many great appearances at the King of Prussia one. Please come out and join us. Don't forget also, this is going to be your official home for the entire season for all Eagle fans to come up and see us in King of Prussia. Remember, go to northeasthooters.com. If you're getting your fantasy drafts together this week, please call ahead, reserve some tables. This is a place for you. The iconic Hooter girls are going to be there to serve you. Tuesdays, buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, a 40-year tradition that they have, 1983 on Saturdays. Kids eat for free. How about this? 6 items, $6. Fried pickles, man, you're going to absolutely love the steamers. Get the sandwiches there too, man. You're just going to fall in love with it. northeasthooters.com. Find one of the 7 locations nearest you. You can also go over to my Twitter page, at Dan Sileo Show, to see where we're going to be in town so you can come up and have a cold one with us. And when you go to Hooters, do me a favor, make sure you tell them Big Sil sent you.